Hello students, hope all of you are fine. So dear children, we have completed the lesson photosynthesis in higher plants and today we are going to start the lesson respiration in plants. So first let's see what is respiration. Respiration is an energy releasing, enzymatically controlled catabolic process which involves a stepwise oxidative breakdown of food substances inside living cell. That means respiration involve breaking of the food material with the help of enzymes, okay, and the breakdown take place in the cell, inside the cell, and it take place in a stepwise manner, okay. That is that take place in presence of oxygen, so that is oxidative breakdown of the food substances, okay. It take place in all types of living cells, even the photosynthetic one that trap solar energy and store the same in food. Now food reaches every cell of an organism for respiration to take place. Therefore, actually respiration is also called cellular respiration because respiration take place inside the cell. During cellular respiration, food substance are oxidized. It occur in cytoplasm and mitochondria. So in 10th class we have discussed that breakdown of the glucose take place in the cytoplasm in eukaryotic cells and the breakdown of the pyruvate, okay, glucose breakdown into the pyruvate. So pyruvate is transported to the mitochondria and breakdown of pyruvate take place inside the mitochondria. Chemical bonds, for example, carbon-carbon are broken during oxidation. Breaking of chemical bond release energy and form a number of biochemical intermediates. This energy is used in synthesis of ATP. The biochemical intermediate are used for synthesis of organic compound that take part in the growth, repair and metabolism. Every living cell oxidizes its food to release energy. About 50% of the energy liberated during the cellular respiration is used for synthesis of biomolecules and other life activities like absorption of minerals, maintenance of the cell permeability, uptake of the materials from one cell to other or other cells, osmotic work, growth, development, cell division, muscular contraction, nervous conduction, overcoming entropy, okay, movement, etc. Now the remaining energy is dissipated as the heat. Now that is, heat is not useless but it help in keeping the body warm. Now rise in temperature, that is body temperature during exercise, is caused by higher amount of energy being dissipated as the heat. Now energy is not released in a single step, okay, it is not released in a single step in respiration, nor it is directly used for various cellular activities. That means stepwise production is there and stepwise utilization is also there. Instead, energy is liberated in controlled fashion, okay, in several steps. That means in the stepwise manner energy is liberated, and the liberated energy is mostly stored in ATP molecular forms, okay. So in the form of ATP the energy is stored. Thus 114.5 kilocalorie of energy is liberated for each molecule of oxygen used in respiration. It is employed in the synthesis of 6 molecules of the ATP, that is ADP plus H3PO4 plus energy, that is 8.15 kilocalorie. A reversible reaction provides ATP, in bracket it is ADP, and the phosphorus. Now uh, energy where it is utilized, okay, utilization of respiratory energy in the living systems. So energy can be utilized in the various forms, okay, that is you can say substrate is broken down, okay, during the respiration, okay, and the energy which is released, that is chemical energy, that is used either in the nerve conduction, then it is also used in the muscle contraction, osmotic work, cyclosis, okay, bioluminescence, okay. Then it is also used in maintenance of protoplasmic structure, then for the synthesis of new substances in the body of the organism, in cell division, okay, growth, differentiation and development, okay, and membrane transport. So all these functions, they are for performed with the help of energy which is liberated during the process of respiration by the breakdown of substrate into the end product, okay. Now ATP is broken down to release energy whenever and whatever energy needs to be utilized. This energy stored in ATP is utilized for carrying out different cellular activities. That means the stored energy is used for performing various cellular activities. Thus ATP act as energy currency of the cell. So ATP is also known as the energy currency, as pointed by the Lavoisier. Both combustion, okay, that's burning of the coal, wood, oil, etc., and respiration are similar. The breakdown of complex organic substance, utilization of the oxygen, evolution of carbon dioxide and water, release of energy. Combustion is non-enzyme and uncontrolled release of energy which mostly occur in heat and a lesser extent as light. The combustion and respiration differ in several aspects. So let's discuss what are the various differences between the combustion and the respiration, okay. Now respiration, it occurs inside the living cell. Combustion, it is non-cellular process, it is under biological control, okay. Respiration is under biological control and combustion is an uncontrolled process. Respiration is a biochemical process and combustion is physiochemical process. Energy is released in a stage as chemical bonds are broken in steps in case of respiration, okay, and in case of combustion energy is released in a single step as all the chemical steps occur simultaneously. Now less than 50% energy is liberated as heat in case of respiration, and in case of the combustion most of the energy is liberated as the heat. Now temperature is not allowed to rise in case of the respiration, okay, but in case of the combustion temperature become very high, okay. Most of the energy is trapped in ATP molecule, okay, in case of respiration, and ATP is not formed in the combustion. Now oxidation occur at the end of the reaction, there is terminal oxidation between the reduced coenzyme and oxygen. The substrate is directly oxidized in the combustion. Now a number of intermediate are formed, they are used in synthesis of different organic compounds. No intermediate are produced in the combustion, that is during combustion intermediate substances are not produced. A number of enzymes are required, one for each step or reaction, okay, and in case of combustion burning is non-enzymatic process, okay. So these are the differences between the you can say respiration and the combustion. Now, dear children, let's discuss about the next topic, that is the respiratory substrates. Now, respiratory substrates are those organic substances which are oxidized during the respiration to liberate energy inside the living cell. For example, glucose or protein or fats. Okay, these are the substrates which are broken down to release the energy. Mostly glucose is used. The common respiratory substrate are carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and organic acid. Most common respiratory substrate is the glucose. Okay, so it is hexose monosaccharide. Okay, so hexose means 6 carbon are present. Okay, and monosaccharide means only we can say single chain of the carbon is present. Okay, polysaccharide is disaccharides means two chains of the carbon, that is two glucose molecules are present. Okay, and polysaccharide means many glucose molecules together forms the polysaccharide. Okay, now, another related compound is fructose. Glucose formed from the storage carbohydrate like the starch is in most plant and glycogen in animals and the fungi. Fats are used as respiratory substrate by a number of organisms because they contain more energy, okay, as compared to the carbohydrate. However, fats are not directly used in the respiration. Instead, they are first broken down to intermediate common to the glucose oxidation via acetyl coenzyme A, glyceraldehyde phosphate. Okay, now proteins are used in the respiration only rarely, as during germination of the protein rich seeds and the spores. Protein are hydrolyzed to form amino acids from which organic acids are produced through the deamination. In animals, excess amino acids are regularly deanimated to produce organic acids. Organic acids enter Krebs cycle. Okay, for example, aspartic acid, glutamic acid. Okay, at other times, protein are employed as respiratory substrate under starvation condition. Okay, if there is no other raw material or substrate available under that condition, the proteins are used only when the carbohydrate and fat become unavailable. Okay, respiration involving the protein as the respiratory substrate is called protoplasmic respiration, as compared to the floating respiration which uses carbohydrates and the fats. Protoplasmic respiration cannot be continued for long as it depletes protoplasm of the structural and functional protein as well as liberate toxic ammonia. Okay, so this is about this respiratory substrate. Now let's discuss the difference between the uh, protoplasmic respiration and the floating respiration. Now, floating respiration, okay, it is common mode of respiration. Now, protoplasmic respiration, it is a rare mode of respiration. Okay, the substrate is carbohydrate or fat in case of floating respiration. Okay, and in protoplasmic respiration, the substrate is protein. The substrate is a storage material which is hydrolyzed for the respiration. In floating respiration, okay, the substrate, that is protein, is storage material only in some seeds. In other, it is part of the protoplasm. It goes on indefinitely throughout the life of the cell, that is the floating respiration goes on throughout the life of the cell. Now, the protoplasmic respiration occurs only for some period when carbohydrate or fat is not available, as during starvation. Okay, now floating respiration, okay, do not produce the toxic products. Okay, and in case of protoplasmic respiration, toxic products like ammonia are produced. Okay, now floating respiration keeps the cell healthy. Okay, and protoplasmic respiration, it kills the cell ultimately. So in today's video we'll discuss this much, and in next video we'll discuss about the gases exchange. Okay, the reasons of the respiratory reason for absence of respiratory organ in the plants. Okay, then type of respiration. Okay.